Hey, what's going on? Here we are live on a Friday about 4:22. So we are way past nap time to be doing Facebook Lives with the 4-year-old home. But she's in finishing up with the movie, and I'm going to kick him outside because the weather is gorgeous. Finally, we're out of the 40s. Should be perfect. But I wanted to hit you with, didn't get a chance to do it this week, but I wanted to do another, hold the camera so it doesn't fall over. I wanted to do another quick Facebook Live, and I want to talk about the subject of a lot of people get twisted up when they start doing endurance training and they're either wanting to lose weight or they're concerned about losing weight, and with that comes, well, I'm not going to lose strength. I have a lot of people that come to me either CrossFit or more of a bodybuilder kind of background, so they're always concerned with, they're probably going to lose muscle mass because you're not going to be doing as much heavy lifting, or you shouldn't be necessarily, but you can. And then they're just worried about, they weigh too much, so they do want to lose weight. So I kind of make sure I temper their expectations with a realistic goals of the weight loss and how to lose it properly. Like, usually my goals are not to have people lose weight necessarily. I think that just kind of comes with the program, especially if you're doing longer distance races, and excuse the people doing motorcycle races on the street next to me. That's what we get for doing live. But I just want to temper their expectations, because if you're doing a 70.3, 140.6, you're going to be doing enough aerobic work that you're just going to naturally kind of lose weight, and that also though ties into your nutrition, which we won't really get on nutrition too much on this little chat. But if you're doing the proper nutrition, you're not necessarily eating to your full capacity in your hunger, or you're eating the right things, you will lose weight, and you can still gain muscle mass. So that's what I wanted to hit on is, the key goal is to keep strength, but the strength that we're working on is going to be, leg strength for cycling and running, and upper body strength for swimming. So if you're already doing, upper body lifting and stuff, you should be in a good spot for that. But ultimately you're going to be doing enough swimming and some drills and paddle work and other things. You're actually probably going to be gaining some strength as far as swimming goes. So the key is that when you're doing your swim, bike, and your runs, you're going to have workouts that are power based, either for run, they're strength based, power for run, for cycling. We all kind of equate power meters and stuff for cycling, but there's strength work for runs, which is hill climbs, hill repeats. I have strength routines in my training, plyometrics, box jumps, all that kind of fun stuff. And then there's opportunities, once in a while I'll throw a weight vest on and go out for a run or something like that. So if you do end up losing a little bit of weight, you can add it back on key workouts and get some strength training that way. And it's not the traditional, throwing weights around in the gym or something. It's, you put a few pounds on a weight vest, or for me, if I push the 4-year-old in a running stroller, that's probably 100 extra pounds that you're pushing in front of you. So that's a good strength conditioning right there. So you don't have to worry about missing out on too much strength conditioning when you're running with a running stroller. But the other ones is, you also got to pay attention, body fat kind of plays into that. So, if you come in 15-20% body fat or something like that, you've got plenty of room to safely lose weight and not lose much muscle mass and strength. You may actually have a transition of what is muscle mass and what is just body fat and that type of thing. You might actually kind of not see a movement in the scale, but you'll see a movement in your waistline. You'll be able to see, maybe you can move a few pant sizes down, or shirts fit a little bit better, because your shoulders are broader or something like that. So you'll be able to see it kind of there. So you'll be kind of doing a transition, when you're looking at that body fat. So it's either the body fat goes down, muscle mass goes up, so the weight may kind of stay the same. And like I said, I don't like people kind of fixating on that, the scale. I'm probably as guilty as most people. I kind of check my weight, but I'm more doing it to see how much fluid I've lost in workouts. And I just kind of, gauge where I'm at every day. I'm not obsessing about it necessarily, especially during this time of quarantine. I've done so much more strength work, dry land, swimming routines, that I could tell a difference. I've probably gained a little bit more muscle mass. My shirts are a little tighter in the chest and the shoulders. So, and it's going to happen as life changes. You go from a more weightlifting background to more of a, endurance, running and biking and things. Things are going to shift, but if you have that body fat that give. Once you get to, if you ever get to a 3 to 4% body fat and you're starting to get under that, that's kind of the no-fly zone. That's when you're kind of getting out of the safety area of what's safe to lose for body weight. And again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist or anything, but I've been doing coaching and training long enough that there are certain ranges that if you get below, you kind of want to be careful with. So, if you're above 5% body fat, you have plenty of body fat to lose first before you start losing muscle mass and losing strength. So you have to do a lot of damage to yourself in order to catalyze muscle for energy stores. So if you're not properly giving yourself nutrition and fueling during your longer workouts, that could possibly happen when your body's looking something to fuel and starts breaking down muscle in order to fuel yourself. But you really have to dig your hole deep. Hopefully you're enjoying my little dog running around the deck. He's loving it, right, Charlie? Yeah, he's not really. He doesn't know Facebook Live, whatever. He just wants a treat. So the other one is when you're doing your workouts and stuff. If you're concerned about losing strength, you got to make sure you pay really close attention to that rejuvenation, the recovery. Getting your sleep, getting your rest, and also includes nutrition after your workouts, making sure you're supplying the proper fuel for your muscles to recover after the workout. So if you're going out and just hammering yourself, and then you don't do anything, you go to work or sit at your desk for 4 hours, don't have any nutrition, don't really, drink any water or anything like that, you're going to run yourself into the ground, and yeah, you're going to get fatigued and you're going to lose strength. It's just not a good situation. So, if you're doing bodybuilding and you're into your strength anyway, you kind of should already know that. You probably do know that, but if you're adding in endurance training as well, so you need to pay attention, double up on paying attention to recovery, to nutrition after workouts, to make sure that you're replenishing your body. Because as long as you keep it replenished, your strength really shouldn't decline. You're probably going to see a little decline if you're moving away from those true, functional strength, bench press, squats, and that type of thing. But you can still do those while you're training for long distance events. But you're probably see a little bit of decline because you're going to have some, fatigue built up. But if you pay attention to recovery, it's not a huge problem. The other one is, so we hit nutrition. So when you first make that transition, and I've got a few athletes, I've got one training for Ironman Florida for 2020. He is, a more traditional, CrossFit, brute strength, functional strength type of guy. So I think there's going to be a learning curve, and he's already kind of hit it of, the epiphany of the zone 2 work. And it's just, it's longer workouts, it's easier effort for longer periods of time. And that's, we're working heart rate zones, we're working the aerobic base, we're working fitness. We're not looking for, a bench press max. We're not looking for a squat max or anything like that. So it's a different mindset. So once you get over that initial learning curve of what you're looking for and you're very specified in your workouts, like I said, there's nothing that says, don't want to do it probably a month out from your event, if it's 70.3 or 40.6, doing high weight, your traditional functional strength work. But, there's nothing that says you can't do it leading up to a race. If you've got the time and you're paying attention to recovery and nutrition, by all means, put them in there and make sure if you're working with your coach or anything that you're coordinating with them, so they know that you're doing that, so they're not pounding you with endurance work and then you're pounding yourself with functional strength work and then you're running yourself into the ground and wondering where you're going to get injured. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, the learning curve to go from a true kind of a strength background to a long course endurance stuff, just give yourself some time and grace to, it may take you a minute to figure it out, kind of a good mesh point for all this stuff to work together, but it's possible. And the last point, I've got my notes because that's the way I am. I'd miss things and want to come back later and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. But consistency over time. I tell all my athletes this. I put them in all my posts. If you do it for 1 week and you feel like you're not making gains, or you do endurance stuff for 1 week and you feel like you're losing muscle mass, you feel like you're losing strength, and you just kind of, forget it, I'm going to go back to a different way of doing it. Just give it time. It's going to take time. It's going to take more than a week. It'll probably take about a month to really get into a good groove, to where you feel like you've got a good handle on the endurance stuff, to where you can go back and kind of circle the wagons as far as the strength goes, so you're not losing a bunch of strength. Like I said, if you're switching over long course endurance, there's going to probably be a little bit of sacrifice, but ultimately you should, especially with biking, with running, you should be gaining strength. I mean, the goal is to raise your FTP on the bike power, to be able to do higher speeds and lower heart rate, better fitness, VO2, all that fun stuff. So you're actually going to get some strength gains in probably some areas that you weren't expecting or that you haven't gotten before. It just may not, like I said, it may not materialize in a higher bench press. Remember, squats are a great workout for bike strength. So it's not like you're going to move over to endurance sports and be like, I'm never doing this stuff again, unfortunately. It's like, no, I've got squats. Most of my stuff's body work, but hey, if you're doing 450 on the squat rack, do that on your functional strength day and knock it out. So don't be afraid. Just because you're losing weight, because like I said, you're going to lose weight unless you totally don't adjust your nutrition to make sure you're eating properly. You're going to lose weight, but it doesn't mean you have to lose strength. A lot of people worry about that. Oh, I'm going to lose weight, I'm switching over to endurance sports and I'll lose strength. And it's not the case. And especially if you've got a coach, if you've got someone you're kind of working with, make sure they know what your goals are. If you want to be a fast endurance course athlete, it's going to change, and you may lose a little bit of the traditional strength you're looking for. But if you're just like, I want to go have a good time, I want to do the events, but I want to keep my strength, because at the end of the day, I'm going to go back to powerlifting. Make sure your coach knows that. They'll build it in your plan, and it should be good. And if you're wondering what my medal is, I switched my half, Hospital Hill half, and I think Nicole's on there. Saw a few people that here locally in Kansas City, where this is supposed to be June 6th, I believe. It was supposed to be I think it was the weekend after Ironman Tulsa. So Ironman Tulsa was May 31st. I think the weekend after we were supposed to go out and do a half marathon. It's a pretty tough hilling one, but unfortunately COVID-19, they canceled it and made it virtual. So I did that. Already did a 13-mile run like the weekend before anyway, so I just turned it in. I got my medal. So first medal 2020. So whatever, I thought I'd wear it around and celebrate it before I go put it up on my medal rack and call it good. But anyway, the point of the Facebook Live today was just because you're doing endurance sports and you might see some lost weight on the scale doesn't mean you're going to lose strength overall. And if you have concerns, as always, reach out to your coach, to anybody else that's setting up your plan, wherever you're getting your plan, and make sure that they know your goals and just know what you're getting into. Any other questions or anything like that, let me know. Have a good weekend. I know here in Kansas City, it's kind of a muggy spring weather right now. If you're in the sun, it's like, probably high 70s, a little muggy. I did my VR8 run this afternoon. Got really sweaty and bent out of shape on that one. And then tomorrow's supposed to be nice, and then Sunday is supposed to have thunderstorms. So welcome to the Midwest in the spring. But everybody else, have a good weekend. Hopefully, if you're doing VR8 for Ironman this weekend, good luck. I am trying it out. I'm going to do another post on that. So if you got any other questions or anything like that, put them in the comments. I'll get back to them. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you guys later.